Hello everyone. So today we'll be looking at SAT preparation for those who are taking the SAT exams for this year 2024 and also in year 2025. My name is Mr. James Ogbaji. I'll be your maths instructor today for the SAT exams preparation. So let's get along. So here we have the list of the instructions. Okay, instructions are very important as they will help you to know what's expected of you from the college board, which is responsible for the SAT exams preparation. So let's see some of those information that you will need for your exam preparation. Alright, so all variables and all expressions represent real numbers. Your figures provided are drawn to scale, as we can see. All figures lie in a plane. The domain of a given function is the set of all real numbers x for which f of x is a real number. Let's get other instructions. Of course, here you have basic formulas that will be of help to you in the exams. As you are busy solving, there are basic formulas that you need for this exam preparation. We can see the area of a circle, the circumference of a circle, and also we see other shapes like the rectangle, the triangles, and also the next one has to do with Pythagoras theorem. Then we have special right angle triangles, and also we have a cuboid, which is a rectangular prism, how to get the volume of a rectangular prism, the length, width, and the height multiplied together. Then we also have the cylinder, where we can find the volume of a cylinder pi r square h, and then we have the sphere 4/3 pi r cube, and then we have the cone, which is the volume 1/3 pi r square h is the volume of a cone. And lastly, we have a rectangular pyramid, which is 1/3 length times the width times the height. So all these are just basic formulas that will aid you in solving some of the questions you will need for the SAT prep. Now let's go into the questions proper. Now we have our first question. What is 10% of 470? So what is 10% of 470? So first, we know that 10% means 10 over 100. So we write 10 over 100, which is 10%. Of simply means times, and then we are multiplying by the quantity, which is 470. So let's solve together. Here we have 0 cancels 0. This other 0 cancels 0. And then when you multiply 1 times 47, you have a result of 47. So our answer is B. I hope that is clear. Alright, so we'll move to the next question. The next question, question 2, says 4x plus 6 is equals to 18. So the question says which equation has the same solution as the given equation. Now from the list of the options A to D, we can see clearly that we are looking for the value of 4x. So from the equation given, all we need to do is collect the like terms. I'll move 6 to the other side where we can see 18 because they are both numbers. So on the left hand side, we'll be left with 4x. And when I take 6 to the other side, it changes to negative 6. So we have 18 minus 6. So when we evaluate 18 minus 6, we have 4x equals to 12. And so we get our solutions to be what? To be option C, where we have 4x equals to 12. I hope that is clear. Alright, so with this, we move to the next question, question 3. And here we have a question saying the total cost in dollars to rent a surfboard consists of a $25 service fee and a $10 per hour rental fee. A person rents a surfboard for 3 hours and intends to spend a maximum of $75 to rent the surfboard. Which inequality represents this equation? Now, this question is testing your knowledge on linear inequality. Okay? Now, this service fee is a one-time fee. So this $25 is a one-time fee. And then here we have a $10 per hour rental fee, which tells you that for every hour, the person pays a $10 rental fee. Here we have a maximum. Maximum means that that is the amount you have as the highest. So you could have less than $75, but the total amount will not exceed $75. So we can put this into inequality form by saying the one-time fee, which is the service fee, 25, plus the $10 per hour, and then we don't know the hours, so we're given T hours. So the total duration is T hours. We multiply the rental fee 10 by the number of hours. So we have 10T. Remember, we're told that the maximum is 75. So the inequality that represents this maximum is less than or equal to 75. Are we good? So this is the solution for this inequality to represent this situation. And which of this option gives us this particular expression is clearly option B. Is that clear? Alright, so I believe you are following the class. So with this, we move to the next question, which is the question 4. Here we have a function given to us, function g of x is given to us as x squared plus 9. Now the question is asking for what value of x is g of x equals to 25. Now the g of x is regarded as the output, so the whole of this g of x is 25. All I need to do is equate this function to 25 and solve for x. So now what do we do from this point? We collect our like terms, we take 9 to the other side, and then we have x squared equals to 25. Because 9 was positive, when it moved to the other side, it changes to what? It changes to negative. So we have minus 9. And when you subtract 25 with 9, we're going to have x squared equals to what? Equals to 16. And then we solve for x. If x squared is equal to 16, how do we get the value of x? We take the square root of both sides. So when you take the square root of both sides, here we have square root cancelling the square. So we are left with x. And when you take the square root of 16, we have 4. So our answer is 4 for the value of x, which is option A. I hope we are following class. Alright, so with this, we move to the next question quickly. Question 5. Alright, here we have a question testing our knowledge on probability. We have a 14-sided die numbered from 1 to 14. So there's a formula we use to get probability. We say probability is the number of the required outcome. You need to know this formula. So for every problem on probability, you can simply use this formula. It's the number of the required outcome over the total number of the possible outcome. Total number of the possible outcomes. I hope you are following class. Alright. So the number of required outcome tells you what probability you are looking for. While the total number of possible outcome tells you the considered number of values that you have. So here we have 14-sided die. So we already have the total possible outcome. The total is 14. So we have numbers from 1 to 14. So we have our 14 as the total number of possible outcome. And the question is asking us for the probability of rolling a 2. So how many 2 can we obtain when you roll this 14-sided die once? It's just 1. So our answer is 1 over 14, which is option A. Is that clear? Alright. So we move on to the next question, which is question 6. Okay. So here we need the rate of production. A printer produces posters at a constant rate of 42 posters per minute. Please take note of this word 42 posters per minute. Means for each minute, 42 posters were what? Were produced. And the question is asking us at what rate do we have for the posters per hour? Mind you, the rate given to us was per minute, and we're looking for the number of posters per hour. So all we do is for a minute, we have what? We have 42 posters that were produced. Now for an hour, the first thing we do is we convert the hour to the number of minutes. So how many minutes do we have in an hour? That's 60 minutes. So for 60 minutes, how many posters are we going to get? for the production. So we put our question mark here. So because we're given the posters for 1 minute and we're looking for the poster of more than 1 minute, we're going to multiply the 42 posters times the 60 minutes. And then when you multiply this together, you get what? You get a total of 2,520 posters. So in an hour, you'll be having a total production of 2,520 posters. I hope that is clear. Alright, so with this, we move on to the next question, question 7. Here we have a function, a question on function. F of x is equals to 7x plus 2. Now the question is asking, what's the value of x, of f of x when x is 4? So when x is equal to 4, all we do is that we replace in the function the value of x with 4. So f of 4 is equals to 7 times our x is 4, and then we add our 2. So 7 times 4, what do we have? 28. Then when you add 2, 28 plus 2 will give us what? Will give us 30. So our answer is 30. I believe that is very clear, right? Good. So we move on to the next question quickly. That is question 8. Alright, here we have a teacher is creating an assignment worth 70 points. The assignment will consist of questions worth 1 point and then other questions worth 3 points. Now, we were told that which equation represents this situation where x represents the number of 1 point questions and y represents the number of 3 point questions. Mind you, we have two sets of questions. The first set of questions are awarded 1 point, and then the other set of questions are awarded 3 points. In this question, we're given the number of 1 point questions to be x, so we are going to multiply 1 point times the number of 1 point question, which is 1 times x, then we add it to the number of 3 point questions, which is y. So we are going to multiply the points for each question, which is 3, times the number of 3 point questions, y. So we have 3 times y. In the question, we're told that the assignment was worth 70 points. So total equals to 70. So when you multiply all of this, we have 1 times x is x plus 3 times y gives us 3y. The total equals to 70. So this is the expression or the equation that relates to this situation. So what option is this? We have option D. Is that clear? So when two triangles are similar, it implies that all their angles are the same. The angles in the first triangle are equal to the angles in the second triangle. So that is the condition for similar triangles. So here we're told that L and M corresponds to P and Q. That means L is equals to P and then M is equals to Q. And since in the question they gave us the angle of M, angle M is equal to 53 degrees, it therefore implies that angle Q is also 53 degrees since the two angles are equal. Is that clear? So our angle Q is 53 degrees, which is option B. Are we good? All right, so we'll move on to the next question. Question 10, we have the value of y equal to negative 3x. So I will substitute the value of y in the second equation. So we have 4x plus y is equal to 15. From the first equation, y is equal to minus 3x. So we plug in negative 3x as the value of y. This is the substitution method of solving simultaneous equation or system of equations. So 4x plus minus 3x all equals to 15. So we have 4x plus times minus is minus 3x, which is equal to 15. Therefore, x is equal to 15. So straight away, our x, the value for our x is 15. Sorry, x is 15, which is option C. Are we good? Okay, so we'll move on to the next question, which is question 11. Here we have a scattered plot on a graph. So the values of the scattered plot can be drawn together to give us a linear graph, a straight line graph. So in this straight line graph, there are two forms of slope, two basic types of slope. We have positive slope, which runs upward. So this is positive slope. Whenever the line is going upward, as you move from your left side to your right side, the slope is positive. And then we have negative slope, which is the when you move from your left to your right, this line or the slope comes down. So if you look at this equation, we have what? The line coming down. So that means our slope here is negative. Mind you, the equation of a line is y equals to mx plus b. This is the equation of a linear graph or a straight line graph. The m here is representing the slope of the line, and the b here is representing the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the value of y when x is 0, or the value of y, that touches the y-axis. So if I extend this line, so the point where the graph touches the y-axis. So I will check from this equation. All I just need to do in this question is to check for the sign. The slope, we've said the slope is negative, so negative slope. And then this is the y-intercept. So this is positive y-intercepts. Positive y-intercept. So I check from the options. Which one has a negative slope and a positive y-intercept? Option A has negative, negative, so it's not option A. Option B has negative slope, positive intercept. Let's keep our answer. Option C, positive slope, negative intercept, not correct. And then lastly, positive, positive, not correct. So our answer is option B, negative slope and positive intercept. So in this question, you don't need to find the slope, because the values for the slope and intercept are the same all through the option. So you just look for which one has the sign of the slope and the intercept. Are we good? All right, so move on to the next question. Question 12 is telling us to find the values of x for which f of x is 0. Now, y is also known as f of x. So I can say that this f of x is the same thing as saying y equals to 0. So the values of x for which y equals to 0 means the x-intercepts. So how many x-intercepts do we have from this graph? This is 1 when x is negative 1. This is 2 when x is 4. This is 3 when x is 7. So the values of x are 3 for f of x equals to 0. I hope that is clear. All right, so we'll quickly move on to the next question, question 13. We have Vivian. She bought party hats and cupcakes. So we use H to represent the number of party hats. We use C to represent the number of cupcakes. Okay? It's advisable you use the initials to represent the items you are describing. So we have a total of $71 for the two amounts, the amount of hats and cupcakes she bought. So each package of party hats is costing $3. So 3 times the number of hats, that is 3H, the total cost is 3H, plus each cupcake costs $1, and the total number of cupcakes is C. So 1 times C, the total cost is $71. But furthermore, we're told that she bought 10 packages of hats, so we can substitute the value of H with 10. So 3 times 10 plus C equals to 71. And from this point, we can solve for C, which is the number of cupcakes. So 30 plus C equals to 71. So if you move 30 to the other side, C will be equal to 71 minus 30. So C is what? C is 41. Hence, the number of cupcakes she bought was what? Was 41. Are we good? All right, so we move on to the next question, question 14. So we are solving for the quadratic. So you can use any method of your choice. You can use factorization, you can use completing the squares, you can use quadratic formula. You can also plug in the value into your Desmos calculator or your scientific calculator. So for this class, I will use the factorization method because the equation is factorizable. So z squared plus 10z minus 24 equals to 0. So I will multiply the first and the last term, that is minus 24 z squared, and then we look for two factors of minus 24 that will add up to give us 10. But those are the two factors that will replace this middle term, 10z. So, and if you check all the list of factors, it's negative 2z and 12z. Minus 2 times 12 is negative 24, and then minus 2 plus 12 will give you plus 10. So we replace 10z with minus 2z and 12z. So we have z squared minus 2z plus 12z minus 24 all equals to 0. So we group them into 2. Take the first 2. What is common? Z. What is left is z minus 2 plus what is common here is 12. What is left is z minus 2 equal to 0. So z minus 2 is common. So we have z minus 2. You pick out the common factor, and then whatever is left in the second bracket, z plus 12, all equals to 0. So that means z minus 2 is equals to 0, or the second factor, z plus 12, is equals to 0. So z is equals to 2, or z equals to minus 12. We have to put in only one solution, so you can either put in 2 or minus 12. You don't need to put the two solutions, else you will marked wrong. I hope that is clear. All right, so we'll move on to the next question. Next question is question 15. So for question 15, it's a test on exponential. So exponential equation is given as y equals to a b raised to the power of x, where a is the initial value, the initial or the original, either the initial or the original value, is also referred to as the y-intercept, the value of y when x is 0. Our b in this equation represents the growth factor, which is also given to us as 1 plus or minus r. Now, 1 plus r is used when it's a growth or it's an increase in the equation. Then 1 minus r is used if it's a decay or a decrease in that model. Okay, so x is the unit of measure. Most times it could be a function of time, like in this question it's a function of time in hours. So it could be a function of time, it could be a function of bounces. These are units of measure. It could be a body length, it could just be length, it could be any unit at all of measure. Okay, and then we have what? Then we have y, which is the final or the new value. Final or the new value. So in this question, we have 300 cells per millimeter as the initial observation. So which is the value of A? The original or the initial is 300,000. We're told that the number of cells doubles. When it doubles, it tells you that the growth factor is 2. So B is 2. If it triples, the growth factor is 3. So for this question, it doubles. So the growth factor is simply what? It's simply 2. Okay? And then every 3 hours, it gives us the period. So whenever you have a period, every periodic time, then you divide the value of x by that period. So in this case, we're going to be having x over 3. So instead of putting a b raised to the power of x, we'll use x over 3. Is that clear? All right, then the question is asking us to get the new value or the final value after 15 hours of observation. So the x here is 15. So I'll just plug everything into the equation. Y is equal to 300,000. B is 2 raised to the power of x. But don't forget, every 3 hours makes it x over 3. Our x is 15 over 3. So we have 300,000. 2 raised to the power of 3 will divide 15. That's 5 times. So 3 raised to the power of 5. That is 32. When you multiply 32 times 300,000, we'll get 9,600,000, and that will be the final value or the new value after 15 hours. Are we good? Which is our option D. So we'll move on to the next question. Question 16. We have to factorize this. That's which of this is equivalent. So we are from the options we can tell that it's a question testing us on factorization. So you look for what is common in the two terms. Start with the number. The highest common factor of 6 and 12 is 6. So I will keep 6 outside the bracket. Between x raised to the power 8 and x squared on both sides, x squared is the highest common factor. Then y squared is common on both sides. So I'll just put in y squared. What is left? On the left, on the first term, in the first term, what is left? 6 will divide 6. X squared will divide x raised to the power 8. I'll be left with x raised to the power 6. And y squared will divide y squared. Plus 6 will divide 12 is 2, while x squared y squared will divide x squared y squared. So we are left with this. So if you expand this, you come back to have what you have above. Is that clear? So what option is this? Option C. I hope that is very clear, right? So with this, we'll move on to the next question. Okay, so this is the next question. We have a 2-hectare park, and there are a number of trees here we don't know. Then we have 35 residential area. So the one that has 2 is representing hectare. The one that has 35 in the model represents what? Residential. So in this equation, this is 35 hectare, this is 2-hectare park. So this is for park, 2x for park, and the x is what they're asking us to describe. So 2x, it has to do with hectare park. So with that, I can ignore anyone that has to do with residential. I cancel option B, I eliminate option B and option D. And between option A and C, which one represents the value of x? Average number or total numbers? Now, it can't be total number. Total number tells you the 2x. 2x itself is the total numbers of trees in the park. While x alone stands for the average number of trees per hectare. So our answer is A, the average number of trees per hectare. I hope that is clear. All right, so we'll move on to the next question. Question 18, you can solve by using your calculator, plug it into Desmos, which is your graphing calculator. You can just plug each of these options and see which of them will give you this graph, and then that is your answer. But we can also solve without the use of our graphing calculator. All you just need to do is pick any point of x and y from this graph. More preferably, I use the y-intercepts. You can pick any point. You can also use the x-intercepts. You can use any point on the line, any value of x and y, but I prefer to use the y-intercept where x is 0 and y is 4. So I will plug it into all these options and see which of them will give me the same thing on both sides. So for option A, y equals to, so y is 40 equals to 8x is 0, so 0 plus 12. Then option B, we have 8x. 8x is 0 plus 12 times y, 12 times 40 equal to 480. Then option C, I have 40, which is y, equal to 12x is 0 plus 8. And lastly, option D, we have 12 times 0, which is 0 plus 8 times y, 40, equals to 480. So compare the two sides and see which of them have the same value. Of course, it's not option A, which is 40, 12. Then this 480, 480, option B will keep our answer here. We have 40, 80, so it's not option C. And then we have 320, 480, it's not option D. So our answer is option B. Is that clear? All right, so we'll move on to the next question. Question 19 gives us two circles rather with radius 3n. So for circle A, radius is 3n. Then for circle B, which has a larger radius, I will use the uppercase. R is what? 129n. So we can get the area of the two circles. So area of a circle, remember, is pi r squared. So I'll plug in the value of r. So area of circle A is pi. You leave your answer in terms of pi, so there's no need to substitute that with 22/7 or 3.14. So we have 3n all squared. And when you solve this, this becomes 9n squared pi. That is for circle A. We do likewise for circle B. So B is pi. The R is 129n all squared. By the time you multiply 129 multiply by itself, you'll get 16,641 n squared pi. So the question is asked, how many times is circle B of circle A? So that means you are dividing circle B by circle A to find out the number of times that A will go into B. So we have 16,641 n squared pi over what? Over 9n squared pi. Pi cancels pi, n squared cancels n squared. Divide 16,641 by 9, we are going to get a result of 1,849, and that is option D. I hope that is clear. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. The next question is question 20. So question 20 is asking for the maximum data value. So from this table, we can see that the left column represents the data value. So from 6 to 14 are the data value. So which of these is the largest or is the biggest? That is the maximum data value. So this is straightforward. The biggest is 14. So we have our maximum data value to be 14. So move on to the next question, which is question 21. So here we have the equation of circle and we're looking for the radius. R there represents the radius. So all we need to do, we're given two endpoints of the diameter. These endpoints are coordinates on that circle, which is a coordinate of x and y. So I can represent this with x, this x, y, this also x, y. So each of these coordinates is a coordinate of x and y. So I'll just plug it in directly into the equation. I'll use the first coordinates. If you use the second coordinate, you'll get the same value for your r. So we have 2 minus 2, x is 2 all squared, y is 4, so I'll use 4 minus 9 all squared equals to r squared. So this is 0, so we'll strike out that. Then we have minus 5 squared equals to r squared. Minus 5 all squared is 25 or to r squared. So r is square root of 25 and that gives us the value of 5 for r. So our r is 5. I hope that is clear. Alright, so we'll move on to the next question. Next question is question 22. We're given angle r. Angle r is 2 pi over 3 radians. And then angle t, we're told that angle t is 5 pi over 12 radian greater. So greater means it's more. That means we are adding to the value of r to get angle t. So that means 2 pi over 3 plus 5 pi over 12 will give us angle t. So if you look for the LCM, we have 12. 3 divided 12 is 4. If you multiply by 2 pi, you get 8 pi. Plus 12 divided 12 is 1. Times 5 pi is what? Is 5 pi. So when you add up, you get 13 pi over 12. But the angle is in radian. But the question is asking us to convert it to degrees. So how do we convert to degrees? Pi radian is equals to 180 degrees. So whenever you are converting from radian to pi to degrees, you multiply by 180 degrees and then you divide by pi. But if you are converting from degrees to radian, all you need to do is you multiply by pi and then you divide by 180. I hope that is clear. So in this case, we want to change from radian to degree, so we multiply by 180 over pi. So 13 over 12 times 180 degrees over pi. Pi cancels pi. 12 here is 1, 12 here is 15. 13 times 15 will give us 195 degrees. So our answer is option C. Is that clear? Okay, so we'll move on to the next question, which is question 23. We're given the area of a town and then we have to convert it to square yards. Mind you, the conversion factor is from mile to yards, not from the square miles to square yards. So you have to get the area scale factor. So 1 mile is equals to 1,760 yards. So we need to get the scale factor of their area. All you need to do is take the square of the both sides. Take the square of both sides. So 1 mile square is 1 square mile. And then 1,760 yard square is 1,760 times 1,760, and that will give us, let's see, it will give us 3,097,600 square yards. So with this conversion factor, we can now convert 4.36 square miles. All we need to do is multiply 3,097,600 will multiply by 4.36. So that will give us, if you multiply, you get 13,505,536 square yards. Which is our option D. I hope that is clear. All right, so we'll move on to our next question. The next question is question 24. So for question 24, We have two lines, line H and line K. But line H will give us a result of line K when we translate it down by 5 units. So we don't know the equation for line H. So the first thing to do is to get the equation for line H. With this table, which is for line A, we can get the equation. So all we need to do, the equation of line is y equals to mx plus b. So I can get the slope, which is m. Pick any 2 points of x and y. So this is x1, this is y1. The second value I'll use as my s2, y2. So I'm picking 18, 130 as my x1, y1. Then second point is 23, 160. So use this to get my slope. Slope is y2 minus y1, which is change in y, over x2 minus x1. So we substitute the values. 160 minus 130 over 23 minus 18. So we have what? 30 over 5. So our slope is simply 6. So I'll come back to the equation and substitute the value of slope. Y equals to 6x plus b. So we are still left to get the y-intercept b. So I can pick any of these coordinates, 18, 130, 23, 160, as x and y, and solve for b. So I'll pick the first one, 18, 130. So y is 130, and then x is 18. So 6 times 18. So I can find my b. So 130 is equal to 108 plus b. So b will give us 130 minus 108. So that will give us what? 22. So we'll come back and plug in to write the equation for line H. So the equation for line H has an equation of y equal to 6x plus our b, which is 22. Okay. So now, since we have the line for H now, we can find the equation for line K. Line K is gotten by translating down by 5 units, right? So translating down means you are subtracting 5. If you translate up, you add 5. So for line K, we'll subtract 5 from line H. So y is equal to 6x plus 22 minus 5. So that will give us y equals to 6x plus 17. So this is the equation for line K. Now that we have our equation for line K, we can now get the x-intercept. X-intercept means the value of x when y is 0. So when y is 0, 0 equals to 6x plus 17, and then we solve. Take 17 to the other side. I will have minus 17 equal to 6x. And then dividing both sides by 6, x is equal to minus 17 over 6. And that is option D. Is that clear? All right. So with that, we'll move on to the next question, which is question 25. So here we have a quadratic equation, which is y equals to minus x squared plus 9x minus 100. And then we also have the next equation, which is y equals to c. So I'll replace the value of y in the first equation with c. So we have c equal to minus x squared plus 9x minus 100. And then I'll bring all the terms I have on my right hand side to the left hand side, so that we can have the standard quadratic equation. So if I take negative x squared to the left hand side, it becomes x squared. 9x comes to the other side, changes to minus 9x. And then we have negative 100 comes to that side, changes to plus 100. And then we already have c, so equals to 0. So now it intersects at only one point. The two lines intersect at only one point. So this is a test on discriminant. Under discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So when it has 1 point of solution, that is equals to 0. So this is for one solution. When it has two solutions, that is two values, we have b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0. That is the condition for two solutions. Then when it has no solution, we have b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. So this is for no solution or 0 solution. So, but for this question, it's one solution or 1 point. So we're going to use b squared minus 4ac. So let me write out my standard form of quadratics and pick my a, b, and c. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So if I compare these two, I can pick my a, b, and c. So a is 1, because the coefficient of x squared is 1. B is minus 9. and the rest is my constant c. C is 100 plus c. So I'll just plug it into the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, and equate it to 0. So I have b squared minus 9 all squared minus 4. A is 1 and c is 100 plus c. So it's equals to 0 because remember, one solution or 1 point. So with that, minus 9 squared is 81. Then we have minus 4 times 100 minus 400, then minus 4 times c minus 4c equals to 0. So I'll move minus 4c to the other side. 81 minus 400 is minus 319 equals to, if I move minus 4c to the other side, it becomes what? 4c. So dividing both sides by 4, c becomes minus 319 over 4, and that will give us option C as our solution. I hope that is well taken, that is understood. All right, so we'll move on to the next question, question 26. Here we have a system of equations, but the two equations are the same. If you divide equation 2 by 5, you will get the first equation, 2x plus 3y equals to 7. So I'll just work with the first equation. 2x plus 3y is equal to 7. So all you need to do is to ask which of these points lies on this graph. Each of these points are values of x and y. So I'll just plug in the values of x and y into each of the options and then get which of them will give me 7. So I'll start with the first option, option A, where x is r over 5 plus 7 and b and y is negative r over 5 plus 35. So I'll plug in. So into bracket r over 5 plus 7, then plus 3y. Our y there is minus r over 5 plus 35. Let's see if we'll get a result of 7. If you expand the first bracket, 2 times r over 5 is 2r over 5 plus 2 times 7 is 14. Then 3 times minus r over 5, that is minus 3r over 5, that is for the second expansion. Then 3 times 35 is 105. So when we collect like terms, this to this, and then this to this. So 2r over 5 minus 3r over 5, that would be minus r over 5. Then 14 plus 105 is 119. So you can see it's not giving us a result of 7. So A is out of it. So let's try it for option B. So we have 2x, which is 2 minus 3r over 2 plus 7 over 2 plus 3y. Our y is simply r, so plus 3r. Let's expand the bracket. 2 times this, 2 cancels 2, so we have minus 3r. 2 times 7 over 2, 2 cancels 2, so we have plus 7, and we have plus 3r. Minus 3r plus 3r is 0, so this will cancel out with this because it will give you 0, and we're left with 7. So our answer is B. If you follow this method to solve for option C and option D, you won't get a result of 7. So our answer is simply what? Is simply option B. So option B lies on that graph. I hope that is well understood. All right, so let's move on to the last question, question 27. For question 27, we're given the perimeter of an equilateral triangle. So an equilateral triangle is a triangle that has all the sides equal. So let's say so all the sides are equal. So that means this L, this L, this L. All the lengths are equal. So that means 3 lengths is equal to 624, the perimeter. So that means L is 624 divided by 3, and that will give us what? 208. So this triangle has a height. So let me indicate the height. So the height, this is the height. The height divides the triangle into 2 equal parts. So we have 208 here. Then we have 208. And here we have what? Here we have 104 because it's been splitted into 2. It's been bisected. The same thing with the angle. Here we have 30 degrees. Here we have 60 degrees. So this is the right angle. And then this is the height. So this is under a special triangle, 30, 60, 90. For a special triangle, we can simply get the height by multiplying the smallest side or the shortest side, 104, by root 3. But you can also use Pythagoras theorem, h squared plus 104 squared equal to 208 squared. But you don't need to do that if you understand similar special triangles. So this side, h, which is facing 60 degrees, is root 3 of the side facing 30 degrees. So h is 104 root 3. And of course, they gave us the value also from the question to be k root 3. So height is k root 3. So if you compare these two, root 3 cancels root 3 and k, which is what we are looking for, becomes 104. So our answer for the value of k is 104. I hope that is clear. All right. So that is the last question for this practice test. I hope you followed through each of the questions in this practice test. If you have followed through, we ask that you like. We advise that you like. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until we come your way again in the next class, I remain James, your maths tutor for SAT. So see you all in the next class.